because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. I am pleased to be back, and that's only because of the fact that not only am I here with my good brother Patty Mac, Big P, but you know what? We had our first week of NFL football, the first week of Colts football. Let's just say. So yeah, it felt like forever, right, Pat?
It did. It was the longest off season I can remember.
Yeah. It doesn't get any easier, but you know what? We're here, and you know we're gonna get into everything. But before we do, we have just a couple things to just kind of go over. For one, touchdowns, TD, Tutty, taking it to the house. Whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an NFL Sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. I mean, if we're being honest, I think what are the lines for this week? I don't know what the lines are for the Packers game, but I'm sure it went down significantly since Malik Willis will be starting at quarterback instead of Jordan Love. But I mean, you could even bet on that. But make sure that you are going into DraftKings. When you go on the DraftKings Sportsbook, you can download the app, I believe, as well. And then if you are ready to do a touchdown dance of your own, you can also score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code 6sports. That's SICKSPORTS, all one word, all caps. That code 6sports is for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, and you get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium free. That's free. And honestly, I wish we could bet in Missouri. It stinks, but you know what? If y'all can, more power to you. But that's only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
There you go.
All right. And with that being said, Pat, how we feeling? How we feeling today?
A little better. A little better than I was yesterday. I was a little upset yesterday.
Oh, no.
You know, Chris, I ain't going to lie. I wasn't too upset. It was the first game. I saw what I wanted to see. Mm-hmm. Finally got to see Anthony release his arm. You know, saw a lot of holes, a lot of things that we got to clean up. Absolutely. Yep. But if we can see him, you damn sure know these professional coaches can see him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm highly encouraged. What about you?
I'm listen, I went into this game thinking that, you know, it was going to be maybe a little rough and tumble, might end up being like a shootout. Honestly, I think the game went much better than expected. And I mean, we had some people show up that we've been waiting on.
Yes.
And I mean, you know, like I said, we had some career games. And so, I mean, with that being said, you know, I know it's a loss. And I know that I don't like to do the whole participation trophy thing. But I mean, even though it was a loss, you kind of got a glimpse into seeing exactly what we've been hoping to see all this time.
Yes. I would say that there was two disappointing factors that really stood out to me. One, we didn't win. That's always going to be a disappointing factor.
Yeah.
And two, I did not think we utilized Jonathan Taylor like we should have. I tried to get to stats and, you know, so I could be able to break everything down tonight. But time was not on my side.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
I
you
think
doing, Teresa?
what's going on, Teresa? But you know what? I want to say I do believe, and from what it looks like the Texans' plan was to focus on neutralizing the run and then let AR pass. And I don't think that they anticipated AR really going out there and passing the way that he did. Because I mean, it was almost, I'm gonna say it was almost inspiring, the fact that you're waiting for a couple of those plays. The Texans, they go and get their field goal, and you're just like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. And then AR just launches this 60 to 65 yard pass, unstable, and is just able to just flick it out there like that. And that right there was like, that's the alien monster cyborg that we've been looking to see all this time.
It is. That's the X factor that we've been ready for. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And now that we've seen it, the rest of the NFL's seen it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's inspiring to see exactly how it was. Now, of course, there were some miscues. I mean, I think there's always going to be miscues, but the thing is, the miscues weren't the type of miscues that take you out of a game. It was miscues where it's just like you had some missed opportunities, but it wasn't miscues where AR just throws an interception all willy nilly. I think it was just like, it was a miscues where it's just like he misses AD Mitchell on a busted coverage. It's just like, that's like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Or missing AD Mitchell on a, I'm going to say what looked like a go route, but the illegal touching is what it is. So be it. But you saw the opportunities, and you saw that he didn't turn the ball over super great. Like, he had the one interception.
Yeah, and are you really going to even give that to him, or are you going to give it to Granson?
I think it's a little bit of both. But once again, that's another thing that's one of those miscues, because these are two guys that are going to be looking to get on the same page.
Absolutely.
So it was actually, I was very much inspired by what we saw. If you can, I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna give you a couple different opportunities, or I'm gonna give you a couple different things, and you just tell me. I want you to grade out these specific groups. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Grade out the D line.
First half, second half, or total?
Total,
they get a C.
C. Okay.
Yeah.
Grade out the linebacker.
And honestly, it should be lower. But the first half, they did a monstrous job.
Yes.
Second half, I don't know if it was schemed that way and Gus changed shit coming out of the locker room, or if their offensive line just really manhandled our front four. I want to lean towards scheme, because ain't too many people in this world can handle that kind of meat and muscle that our front four is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, they didn't get the job done, regardless if it was scheme or them or the Texans O-line in the second half. What's his name? Mixon ended up getting almost 160 yards on us.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to break down stats from first half to second half to solidify my points. But again, my lazy ass ran out of time and I couldn't get it all done. So I apologize about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, one thing, and and then we'll go on to the next group to grade. Latu ended the day with 5 pressures, and mind you, this is working against Laremy Tunsil, who I think him and Trent Williams out of San Fran. That is, I'm sorry, that comment is hilarious. Meat and muscle is a diabolical combination of words describing man.
Well, I'm a diabolical kind of guy. I don't know what to tell you today.
But it's like going up against Laramie Tunsil and being able to get that amount of pressures in your debut, it's like it's no small feat. And I think it's just like pressures is going to be a big thing because, I think in the offseason, we talked a lot about the fact that we got a lot of sacks last year, set the franchise record for sacks, but we didn't get a lot of QB pressures, which resulted in, QBs getting crazy amounts of yards. But I don't give. I mean, do you feel a little bit differently about that? Like, do you feel like pressures is like something that has
It-
that effect, or it's just like, the sacks are enough?
no. This game is more about pressure than actual sacks, believe it or not.
Yeah,
For the simple fact, if you can get to it, that's your goal, is to get that sack column. Absolutely. But the effectiveness of your game comes on those pressures.
yeah,
Okay. Can I effectively disrupt the timing of that quarterback and that receiver? Can I effectively disrupt that quarterback and that running back trying to hand off the ball?
yeah,
That is, in my opinion, a bigger part of any defensive lineman's game than just saying, oh, hey, I got 12 sacks this game. Great, but did you win? No. Well, why didn't you win? Well, because they kept dropping bombs. Why didn't you get more pressure? Why didn't you break up that timing?
yeah,
Why didn't you do something about the rhythm that they were catching hold of? Because you were just worried about your stat line,
exactly.
not the teams. So to me, pressures are more valid than sacks.
Yes,
Don't take me wrong, I love sacks. I absolutely love them. But it's not the do all end all to it.
yeah, yeah. And I'm with you on that because, like I said, we weren't able to get QB pressures last year. And you would have thought that being able to get as many sacks as we were able to get last year, that would have mattered, but it didn't matter because we weren't pressure. We were either getting to the quarterback or not getting to the quarterback, and we're not affecting anything in between.
Now, any of you statistician monsters out there, go back and look at the Carolina game and look at the pressure we put on him. And look, Kenny Moore got 2 pick six.
Yep.
I think somebody else had an interception. That's what pressure does.
Uh-huh.
That game right there is the hallmark poster card to why you have to pressure these guys. Earlier in the season, I talked about how do you combat division rivals getting better in the passing game. You get better on the front four. You
Yeah.
take away their passing game. And a passing game is all about timing. Passing game is all about rhythm.
Yeah.
And you can disrupt both with that front four.
Yep. And that's how you make sure that you're consistently affecting people because you have to be able to consistently make a quarterback see ghosts.
Yes.
And you have to be able to make them just do these things. And like I said, it's just like when a quarterback gets sacked, that's fine. I mean, we saw it a few years ago with Joe Burrow in the playoffs on the road. This man got sacked 9 times in one game and was still able to put his team in position to win. And they knocked out the number 1 seed in Tennessee Titans. Like that's sacks. But the thing is, if you're frequently getting pressure in a QB's face, like let's just say just going sorry about the puppers, but if you're frequently getting the
You can't tell me we're not a family show.
we are
My
we
granddaughter will
absolutely
run in here, your dog will barking.
like we can't you can't help it, okay? This is a family oriented podcast, all right?
Yeah.
but it's like it was even going back to I'm gonna say the Super Bowl with the first time the Giants saw the Patriots. And the fact that that was a team that was undefeated going all the way up until the Super Bowl and from getting those sacks, getting that pressure on Tom Brady frequently, completely threw off the cadence, completely threw off all chemistry. And you have to be able to go and put pressure on people. I'm going to say frequently, otherwise they're going to be able to do it, especially now. Like this is more of a passing league than it was back in 07, 08. So
Absolutely. Hey, let me address this question real quick. Or actually, I want you to address it because I don't have the answer. But Teresa asked, how did Juju Brents get hurt? And I
yes.
still don't know that answer.
Okay, so the initial report was that he got hurt during the game on Sunday. Now, he got hurt, but he was still okay to go. He was still, able to play through it a little bit. So, I mean, he was playing hurt, but they looked at the knee, looked at what it was, and I think this was also the same knee that he had issues with last year. So, the initial diagnosis that we got originally said that it was season ending. Now, what they are saying is that he's going to get it checked out tomorrow, and therefore we'll be able to see. Now, best case scenario, they are saying that he could be back sometime mid-December, but worst case scenario, it is a season-ending knee injury, after the surgery or after what would need to be done. So,
Okay, there you go, Teresa. Yeah, because I had just seen it. I haven't had a chance to dive into it. So,
yeah. So it was very shocking, but once again, it's very very odd the way that it happened. But I mean, he tried to play through it, and I guess it's just like there's a little bit more to it than that. But all right, so Pat, getting back to more of the grades because I see people popping in with the comments, and we need to make sure we're getting to it.
okay.
All right, so let's just say for the linebacking group.
This is a tough one because they really disappointed me.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly had every confidence in Zaire Franklin to just literally be in CJ's face the entire game.
light up.
And I didn't see it once.
No.
The linebackers, secondary duty is to stop the run.
Yep.
Primary duty, keep the quarterback contained. Didn't happen. Now, I do get time to go back and watch highlights of the game on the computer so I can slow down things, I can stop it, I can rewind it, things like that. I have not had that chance. I can't say why that my linebackers disappointed me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they shit the bed or anything like that because they were in on a ton of plays.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed because Mixon got 160 yards. I was disappointed because they didn't make EJC or CJ Stroud see ghost.
Yep.
So those two factors were very disappointing. So I'm going to give them a D plus.
Okay. So I do want to go ahead and just let it be known. Before I ask this, 14 tackles and 12 tackles. Who had
Zaire and EJ?
Nope. Nick Cross and Julian Blackman.
Oh, I thought we were staying on the linebackers.
Nope, we are not. We are moving over to the secondary because it's only appropriate that we move to the secondary.
See, and to me, that's a stat line that proves my D grade on the linebackers.
It does.
Safety positions should not have those numbers. If safeties are getting those kind of numbers, a lot of shit in front of them is breaking down.
Exactly. And that's the reason why it was because, and this is going to be crazy to say, Nick Cross, for all intents and purposes, he had a lot of heat on himself coming in. And he was out there, like he saved a Joe Mixon touchdown on an ankle tackle, like basically just getting in, but also he was able to come in and do what he needed to do. Now there were some plays that he gave up that were a little bit tougher, but I think like the one play where I think they went, I want to say they did the out to Diggs in the red zone. He had to play one-on-one man coverage with Stephon Diggs. That's a tough task for anybody, even regular corners at that.
Yes.
So
even those lockdown quarters
exactly
struggle with Diggs.
Exactly. But
Diggs
then what would you give our secondary as a whole?
Secondary as a whole, man, I'm gonna jump up into the B range. I thought Jalen Jones really shined.
Okay, yeah.
In my opinion, he really, really shined. Kenny Moore does what Kenny Moore does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say anything more about Kenny, because game in and game out, he's always doing what he needs to do. It's rare if we ever say, "Oh, Kenny missed this. Oh, Kenny didn't do that. Kenny didn't." You know what I mean? Kenny
Yeah.
does. But being Jalen Jones' second year, I thought he really showed out.
Yeah.
And those are some tough receivers Houston has.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. Houston has greatly improved.
Oh yes,
And
absolutely.
they beat us by 2 points.
Yes.
So,
And this is with what was perceived to be a team that didn't improve because all we did was re-sign all the guys that we already had.
right.
But the thing is, once again, you add in AR, now you have something a little bit different.
Yeah, you add in the AR, the JT combination, the dynamics of this team is completely different.
Yeah.
We had that for what, 1-2 plays last year?
Yeah, we had that. We had it for about 2, maybe 3 drives.
Right.
And
so you can't really, we don't have enough to base anything on. But what we got on paper, the dynamic between AR and JT should have stifled anybody's defense. And me personally, I hope we get to the coaching staff on the grades, because to me, that's where we failed this week.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so where would you grade the secondary?
To be solid B.
I'd give him. I think I'd go B minus, maybe C plus.
Okay.
And the only reason why is just because, it's a young secondary outside of Kenny and Julian.
Yes.
And so, being that it's a young secondary, I think there's too much of a high expectation. But the thing is, you're also going up against a team who essentially has, 2 number ones and a number 2 who can go out there and pretty much kill you at any given time.
Right. And how many yards CJ get?
CJ got 2. He got 243, I think.
You held a talented young man like that under 250 passing yards?
Yeah.
Come on now.
I mean, they were
as young as we are. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, it's just like they did go to the run a little bit heavier. I will say that it's just like if the run had been neutralized, I still do think maybe he might have got some more yards, but I don't think he necessarily would have made like a huge jump. But once again, that just depends. But all right, so then moving over to offense. So we'll work our way back because I think it's a little bit too easy for me to start with AR. So we're going to start with the O-line. What grade do you give the O-line?
The O-line?
Oh, and we can do running, and we can do running. Your grade for running, and then your grade for passing.
I'd rather wrap them up in both.
Wrap them up in both? Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely B plus. I thought the O-line did really, really well. Yeah, they weren't perfect. Anthony got hit a few times. Anthony had some pressure on him, but in my opinion, they had done really, really well.
Okay. And then what do we have? Because I think I gave the O-line probably about a B minus. Only because of the fact that it's just like there were times where they didn't show up the way that they needed to, I'm going to say, in the run game, but in passing, they were actually able to make sure that they either, were able to give AR enough time for the passing, or if not, then give him some holes where he'd be able to run.
Yeah. Yeah, they got things to work on too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But overall, I thought they did pretty well. And this was without seeing any stats. I mean, I don't know how many QB pressures they had on us. I don't know. I don't think they had like 1 or 2 sacks, though.
Okay, yeah.
If anybody's listening that knows that stat, let me throw it out there for me.
All right. Yeah. So I think he got sacked once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
So I mean, and even that I don't think was a huge huge issue because of the fact that even on the sack, I think it was that was once again a miscommunication. I think the biggest issue that we dealt with all day was just miscommunication. And I mean, it was just like it was evident on the I think it was evident on some of the routes that were ran. It was evident on some of the things that were happening. And I think it's also just making sure that AR is just making sure that he's processing a little bit quicker too. Because I mean, there's a couple of them where, and they say AR got sacked twice. Okay, so it was twice.
Okay,
all right,
there you go.
So because there was a couple of them, I think it was one of them was the short to, I think it was the short to Pittman. I think where he started to roll right. There was a guy that was actually running by himself. I think it was Pierce, who was actually running deep, who had the cornerback burnt, like he had him burnt toast. But he went to Michael Pittman Jr. underneath, and I think he even converted on that. But still, it's like, like I said, it's being able to see that these guys are getting separation further down the field when nobody's out there in open space.
Right. Well, and I do put some of that back on the receivers too. The receivers got to come back into the huddle and let him know, hey man, I'm burning this guy every play. Keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure they're doing it. At least I hope to goodness that they are.
Yeah, they are. I think that you'll see that they are, but once again, it's just like the stuff that we're seeing right now, like the misses, like not seeing some of the guys deep. That's part of the whole, like him getting those reps in, because we didn't see any plays like this during the preseason. So this is all stuff that you pretty much go over in practice that you're not seeing in a real game scenario. So your gut instinct might just be to go to the most reliable guy, who to me is Pittman, and then just saying, here, you go ahead and take this, as opposed to just taking that shot deep to Alec Pierce, where, there's a chance that he just takes it all the way, or there's a chance that the defender catches up to it and then they're able to get a pick on it.
Now, since we're in this realm of the game, that sack on Anthony where they slammed him down, he lost his helmet and everything, was that penalty worthy in your eyes?
So I have a scale. And this scale, I think it works no matter what. If the Ravens would have done that to Pat Mahomes on Thursday Night Football, would that have been a roughing the passer penalty and unnecessary roughness?
Every day, all day, and 3 times on Sunday.
Then why is it different with AR?
Exactly. Now, I absolutely agree with you there. Now, my take on it is the guy that slammed him, that to me, that is the borderline part of the call. But what wasn't borderline was the other guy spearing Anthony in the head. That was definitely flagrant.
Yeah, because that could have been really bad if they didn't already have him on the ground, because I think AR is right here, and the guy literally flew over him by about that much.
Head first.
Exactly. And mind you, that's a move that he can't adjust for. He's being tackled by 2 people. And if they manage to keep him up just a little bit longer, he's going head first into his helmet on his blind side. That right there, that type of speed, especially going at his helmet on that side, that's going to be something that's probably going to knock him out for games.
Yeah, I really hope the NFL goes back, reevaluates that one, and find that guy. I mean, to me, that he was already on the way down. There was no reason for him to jump in on that, especially going head first.
Exactly. It was unnecessary, and we've seen it before. And like I said, with the refs, it's always tough to tell exactly what they're going to call, what they're not going to call, because what exactly constitutes what you do call and what you don't call. Because like I said, if we're going to call it straight, we got to call it straight across the board. If Pat Mahomes will get slammed to the ground the way AR did, and you know you will call it. You got to call it for this one too. Hell,
Absolutely.
they've given him roughing the passer calls for less than that.
Yeah.
So let's just be
Because somebody's shoulder bumped him after he had already threw the ball.
exactly, and then they're just like, oh, roughing the passer. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Now, our good friend, the ultimate fan from Houston, Steve Beckholt, jumped on here and says, "Good game."
Okay, good game.
Steve. It really was a good game. It was in my opinion, it was a close game. Nobody really ran away anywhere. We scored, you scored. You scored, we scored. That's a pretty close game.
It was a game that came down to, and honestly, it just came down to, a couple things here and there, because yes, they got an interception, but also we got a block punt. Like, it was basically, it's just like, who's going to
block
execute
punt that turned
more?
into a JT touchdown.
Yes, exactly.
Their interception did not turn into a touchdown, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
No. I don't think it did. And also we can be just 100% honest about it. This is also with Houston having double the time of possession that we did. They had the ball 40 minutes to our 20. So the fact that it ended up being a 2-point game when they have the ball 2 times longer than we did in that same game means that this team has the ability to be able to score quickly and has the ability to score in much less of a clip. Honestly, if we're able to just get it together and really get those things together, and I'm not going to deal in what ifs, because Houston played a great game. Houston did what they needed to, and they got the
absolutely.
W. But the thing is, if
me and Acosta was talking about it in the stands, they beat the living shit out of us in the trenches.
Oh yeah,
they controlled everything. Steve made a comment. It came down to 1 first down. You're absolutely right, but you guys got that first down because you destroyed us in the trenches, especially in the second half. And in my opinion, there's no reason for that. Not with our front four.
Exactly.
There's no team in the NFL that should be able to manhandle us like the Texans did.
Yeah.
They just should not be able to do it. So I don't know. Again, I'm saying I don't know if it was talent or scheme that caused all that.
Well,
but I want to go to scheme.
I want to say yes, you go to scheme. And the only reason why I say you go to scheme is because if you look at how they did, you know that they had, like, CJ beat us when we played them in the playoffs. No doubt about it. Like, when we beat the playoffs, but that last game of the season, week 18. They beat us week 18 on CJ's arm because they kept on doing what they needed to do. So it looks like we game planned for CJ's arm, and Joe Mixon was able to dominate because of the fact that we were still having to focus on the pass, and we gave them the run, essentially.
Yeah. Steve says their O-line has gotten way better. Absolutely. Absolutely, Steve. You guys have gotten so much better. And it's so much funner to see. You know, I'm not mad that you guys got better.
Yeah.
But I don't care how good you are. The front four we have should not have been manhandled the way they were. Every single play. Houston could have done anything they wanted to with that front four in that second half, and that's unacceptable. We couldn't stop shit that second half.
Exactly.
Yeah, it came down to that last first down. And did you see the hole that Mixon had? Gee, many Christmas.
Yep. It was, and he had that. And the thing is, he had that for a good portion of the game, even more so in the second half.
Yes.
And that's why that time of possession was so important, because I think it was the perfect storm that we had the ball for as little time as we did, but AR was able to score the way that he did. Because, I mean, he was just getting those chunks of yardage that were just absolutely amazing. I mean, Alec Pierce ended the game with 3 receptions for 125 yards. He averaged 41 yards per reception. which means that for the plays that he was able to get, he was actually just going down there, and you're covering at least more than half the field, or covering a little less than half the field on 3 separate plays. So that in and of itself showed you that this team can break off really big plays as long as they're able to go ahead and be on the same page. Now, that also brings me now back to the grading. What do you grade the wide receiver group?
I would almost rather go individual grades than the group. Pittman was almost non-existent in this game.
Yeah.
AD was not on the same page with Anthony. Neither was Kylan. Alec Pierce definitely balled out. 3 catches, 125, 26 yards, something like that, and a touchdown. And Ashton Doolin with that cross route.
Yeah.
But not that was that was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. So the 2 offsets the other 2. C+.
C plus?
Yeah, C+.
I think once again that's like that B minus C plus range. Because
But if I knew you was gonna ask for grades, I would have studied a little harder. Damn, you keeping me on my toes.
I love it. But in all seriousness, I think I'm gonna give it like B minus C plus.
Okay.
I think the plan was to make sure that they took Pittman out, and just kind of make the other guys go, because we didn't have Josh Downs. So not having Josh Downs means that you don't have the route technician in there.
Right.
So at that point, you're just like, okay, well, you're gonna have to throw it to AP, or you're gonna have to throw it to AD. And as you can see, AD wasn't on the same page with AR. But then you have
You think that might just been rookie jitters with AD? Because we did not see that in camp.
I think possibly, but also the thing, you also have to realize that you have to respect AD because he's taller and he's faster. So to a certain extent, defenses may just go ahead and play a little bit more seriously. I think the plan probably was to make sure that they maybe target Alec Pierce a little bit more because of the fact that he hasn't necessarily been consistent. But I mean, he was the guy who ended up killing them the most. I mean, he had 8 more yards than Nico Collins on 3 less receptions.
Yeah.
So and mind you, that's a better secondary than we have on the field. So if we're being honest, I think Alec Pierce coming and showing out was good. I think even the guys getting open, it was good seeing something from Ashton Doolin because we know he's had these injury-riddled years. So to be able to see him come out and just burn for a touchdown off of Yak, nonetheless. Like I think it was a 15-yard play that ended up turning into like a 45-yard play, because of the fact that he was able to just take the ball and just jet it out of there. So I mean, like I said, I think it's a work in progress. It's more chemistry, and I think that's why I have AD possibly going off this week, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I think B minus C plus is around what we're looking for on that one. So
yeah,
all right, and then I think we already know your feelings about the running back group.
Yeah, to me that's no fault of their own, because that all comes down to play calling.
Okay.
Play calling, offensive line, creating a little bit of green, let Jonathan do his thing. But yeah, I wish I'd known how many touches Jonathan had, because I think it was under 20.
Yeah, he had 16. He had 16 total.
There you go. You have a Pro Bowl running back that can light up at any time, and you're going to give him the ball 16 times? Maybe give him the ball a little bit more. Maybe we're on the field a little bit longer. maybe a little more things are opening up because they're starting to stack the box.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're using this game to show the NFL that Anthony can throw it 80 yards from his knees, and they're not going to stack the box, so they're going to come out in Green Bay and just pound Jonathan straight down their throats. And then they start stacking the box, and now you're opening up the backfield.
Yeah.
I don't. There's a billion different ways you can go with this thing.
But once again, I think the issue, but I think the biggest issue was the fact that they just said we're going to do our damnedest to stop Jonathan Taylor, because Jonathan Taylor's usually the person that kills him.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're being honest, Jonathan Taylor is usually the one who kills him. So they're just like, we're going to focus on him, and we want AR to throw.
But they didn't have to focus on him. That's my bitch. They didn't have to focus on him because they didn't give him the ball enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also very true. But, okay. No, that's fair. And then finally, what grade do you give AR for his performance on Sunday?
B. Solid B. Solid B.
Yeah.
Like you said, he missed AP open a couple times.
Yeah.
Him and AD wasn't on the right page. And I'm sorry, but when you're the quarterback, the cross you carry is heavy. So do I know and understand it's both guys? Yeah. But I lean more towards the quarterback in those situations.
Yeah, and that's fair. I'm with you. I'm in that B minus range, and the only reason why is just because, AR still has some work to do with doing everything that he needs to just kind of get into that game mode where he's able to just do the things that we know him to be able to do, him being that alien that we know that he's going to be. But I think it also just boils down to the fact that this was a showing that, for one, came out of the game healthy, good to go. We saw him be able to display that confidence with being able to just have that absolute bomb of a pass to Alec Pierce, but then also able to just kind of pivot back, like, having the issue as far as throwing that interception. And normally with the young QB, that's a confidence killer. But the thing is, AR's confidence didn't wane in that. So it was good to see him be able to just rebound and do what he needed to do to kind of get back on track. Because even after that one, it's just like you could check out, maybe start missing some stuff, be hesitant with your passes. But no, he's still darting them in there. That was like, oh yeah, this is, yeah, we're definitely going to be, just chalking this up and doing what we need to do. Like, it's that mental reset. They talked about it last season where he's just like, listen, good play or a bad play, you're going to have to go out and onto that field again. And when you go out onto that field again, you got to make sure that you have that reset in mind where you're just like, it doesn't matter whether it was good or bad. Your goal now is to make sure that you make it down that field and score again.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the most important part of that for me, at least.
Now, last year, we started a thing called Bang That Play of the Day.
Yes.
And me, Clyde, and Acosta, we would all pick a different play that we thought was worthy of that title for that game. And then, we'd post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. And the fans voted. And whatever the fans voted, got it. Okay. This week, there was only one play that everybody agreed on. Unanimously. So we didn't even segregate the plays and post it out. We're just going to play our clip for Bang That Play of the Game. Sammy, roll it. Of course, she's going to make me sit here and look silly. Sammy.
Sam Bernardino.
Maybe. Oh, he says he don't have it. All right. Well, it must not got loaded up.
Yeah.
But anyways, our Bang That Play the game goes to Anthony Richardson on that. How many yards was it? 47?
47. No, that
What?
was 60 yard pass.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I said 47 because I did not actually remember. So the 67-yard pass to Alec Pierce's touchdown, that's going to be our bang that play of the game. I thought it was more impressive, not the catch, not the TD, but as he was winding up, that back foot slipped.
Yes.
He brought that back foot up and still threw that ball almost 70 yards.
And I think what was not being talked about here is the placement of it too.
Oh, right in the basket, baby.
Still being able to go, and mind you, Alec Pierce didn't have to adjust. He didn't have to do anything extra. It still got to where it was. And mind you, this is an off-poise throw. Like, he literally is basically throwing off of 1 foot because he had to hurry up, just bring himself back up. Mind you, with somebody collapsing on him because he had less than 2 feet to be able to do anything with, and to be able to just go and cut. Like, that's literally what it was. To be able to just go and just cut that thing out of there for 60 yards is nothing short of impressive. I think there's a few different channels that we saw. I think we saw like some of the national media, some of the guys they were like, anybody who showed that play, they were just like, they were dumbstruck for a second. They were just like, I still don't know how he got this off.
Oh, and if you guys haven't had a chance, go to the Colts app or the Colts website. They have an overview camera shot of that play, and it is beautiful.
With
my
music.
God, it is one of the best video clips I have ever seen in my life.
With the music, like the music just made it. It was almost angelic to an extent.
Great word for that.
Yes.
I'm glad you said it because I don't have a vocabulary like that.
It's okay. That's all right. You can speak vicariously through me because I know big words and stuff.
I'll take it. I do well with 3 and 4 letter words, so I stay in my lane. Okay.
Gotcha. Not gonna say what they are, but we know. We all know.
Cat,
we all know.
Dog. Words like that.
Yeah, or 5-letter words depending on where you're going. But either way, we're not gonna get into that too much. So now this week we haven't heard anything initially because it was just Monday yesterday, so we're just going to see. But so Josh Downs potentially will be back. So after last week's game, how confident are you going into the week coming up?
Very confident. I said from the beginning of the season, this team is going to be able to compete with anybody. And I still say it. I have not seen it. I have not seen anything to not be able to believe my own statements. I really and truly believe we can compete with anybody. And as long as we can compete, we're in the running to win that game.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, you have a comment in here from somebody with my namesake. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, let's just bypass that comment.
We're just gonna bypass that one. Brittany
it.
says, "How are y'all feeling about losing Juju for the season?" Potentially only lost him until mid-December.
It's still losing him for one game. It hurts. The kid's a stud. He's really starting to come into his own, and now he's back off the field. It's not good. It hurts. It hurts bad.
I feel like this is something that, even though injuries happen and we get it, I can't help but just continuing to feel like this could have been avoided if you actually just go out and just get a veteran.
But what has a veteran got to do with him getting hurt?
Well, the veteran doesn't.
He's a starter.
Well,
he's good. He was going to be on that field regardless of who you have.
Yes. Now the thing is, I understand that portion of it, but the thing is that now we go from starter to complete uncertainty after him. because the thing is, it's just like Kenny, absolutely reliable. Jalen Jones was more so, okay, we'll see what's there. Juju's like, okay, has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, we'll see what happens. But the problem is now, you take Juju out of the equation, and Jalen Jones, he's going to just have to take his lumps and bruises. Like, that's just what it is. But the thing is now, who do we have after, Jalen and Juju that you actually know for a fact that you are going to be able to rely on?
Well, Flowers is still hurt, ain't he?
And he's still recovering from the Achilles.
Yeah.
So the thing is now, he has to still.
They brought Womack in, but I really don't know enough about him to say I feel confident that he can step in. Now, if they put him in there, I'll take their confidence, but I don't know enough about him or even can claim to say I've seen 2 or 3 of his plays and watched what he can do on the field.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to go check out his highlights.
Yeah,
so we can get a little bit more confident.
Yeah, I think Womack has a little bit more. We just signed Kelvin Joseph. He previously played on the Cowboys. The Cowboys drafted him, and I think he played for the Chargers and one other team. So we signed him to the practice squad today. So, he's somebody that you're potentially looking at to come in, possibly be a starter. He's never been too bad, but I think it's just like he is what he is. I think he's just going to be somebody who's depth. And as unrealistic as it may sound, I would love for us to go out and get a, possibly even trade for a corner maybe. But at this point, it's tough. I think it's just tough because of the fact that now, on a defense that had these holes, now we're looking at potentially going and dealing with, having to kind of overcompensate when it comes to the secondary.
Puppy agrees with you there.
Exactly. Zoe agrees with me. Zoe loves it. So she just like, you're right on, damn it. So yeah.
It's Zoe the most popular dog name. Just about everybody I know has a dog named Zoe.
So let me also be completely, honest. So when my wife and I, when she was pregnant, we weren't pressed to, see what the sex of the baby was, because we're just like, you know what, it'll just be a healthy child, whatever. So she wanted a girl, but she refused to say she wanted a girl. She was just like, I'm cool with whatever. But the thing is, when she found out that it was going to, she was just like, if it's a girl, I want her name to be Zoe, and this, that, and the other. And then like my mom even got like a little mini coat rack, little hanging rack that had Zoe's name on it. So at that point, she was like, yes, okay, so we need, we need Zoe, but then found out that we were having a boy. And so she says, you never give me what I want. I'm just like, well, I don't know what the heck the problem is. You knew this was going to happen. Like, it's either going to be a boy or a girl. There's a 50-50 chance. So when that happened, eventually we ended up getting a dog. We're just like, you can name her Zoe. Therefore, she'll be Zoe, because I said, we're not having any more kids. So, we're not going to do this again. So Zoe it was.
There you go. Now, Jamie, bring up Teresa's last statement, because somebody else had made a comment about the turf. She says, do you think that the new turf had an effect on both teams? Every interview I've seen so far, the players like the turf. So I'm going to say no. If the players were bitching about the turf being this or being that, or they couldn't do this or they couldn't do that, then yeah, I would agree with it. But I haven't seen one player bitch about the new turf yet.
Yeah, I don't like, the thing is, the turf was slippery, but it's not something that I think it's just new because of the materials used. I think it's like cork and something else.
Corn, I thought somebody said.
I think it's cork.
Cork and
something with an H. I don't know.
I don't know. If anybody knows, throw it up.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I don't see it being a huge major thing. I think we'll just have to just kind of wait and see. I think it'll and you know what, it was funny because Adonai Mitchell, he said he was just like the turf ain't that bad, honestly. It's just like you just have to do more cuts in practice, and then you'll be able to get used to it a little bit better. And I'm like, I like it. And also I want to point out AD did say a couple of great things because they asked him about like some of the missed passes between him and AR. And he said he's just like, honestly, it's just like, that's stuff that him and I just got to work on. He's just like, I'm not going to beat up on my QB when he's down. It's just like we're going to be better.
Good.
And I think that was a big thing, especially for somebody that they said was this much of a flight risk coming out of college. So I want to say hats off to him as well.
Yep. Now, Adam J's coming to the party late. But his first comment, he says Houston thought they was going to come in and whoop us. That comment there, Adam, we covered that in length, and we agree with everything you said.
Yep. That, and you know what? They really did. Like, I think somebody said they were going to come in and throw for 400 yards and 4 TDs, and that in and of itself was absolutely ridiculous because it's just like, okay, like that's what you thought, cool, but they definitely did it. Now, once again, if we're able to make sure that we stop the run next time, then what's that going to look like later on?
Right. Oh, sorry. Sammy, bring up Sean Ward's comment. He puts, in my opinion, the corner issue will not be as much as an issue for the next 3 weeks. Willis, Williams, Fields do not scare me. What do you think about that comment from Sean? Because I'm in agreement with it.
So if we're looking at the next 3 games, I don't think any of those teams scare me. We saw the Bears, and especially the Bears with Caleb Williams, we saw them struggle mightily.
Yeah.
And so, like they struggle with them. If anything, if it wasn't for Levis giving away the game, there's no telling how that game would have ended. And so, that I'm not worried about. Malik Willis, we've seen him in action before. So I don't necessarily see that being a huge thing for us. Because, like I said, Malik Willis, you're pretty much almost just like guaranteeing that you're going to – I think our game plan for Green Bay will be the same game plan that Houston had for us. Go ahead and focus on stopping Josh Jacobs and then see what Malik Willis is going to do. Now, if we're looking at the Steelers, this is basically the same Steelers teams we have from last year. Only difference is they have Justin Fields. So the Steelers don't necessarily scare me because of the fact that we know exactly like what to expect. So, I mean, honestly, it's just like I'm not necessarily worried when it comes to the Steelers. So, I mean, you could very easily say that this team can come out of these next 3 games, and by week 5, you end up being 3-1 or 2-2.
I'm with it. Yeah. Out of those quarterbacks, I would say Justin Fields is going to be more troublesome because he just has a more complete team behind him, offensively and defensively. And just, I don't care what anybody says, Justin Fields is a good quarterback.
I think so.
He might not be the smartest. He might not see every open receiver, but what quarterback does? I mean, we can take any game ever played in the NFL and we can find open receivers that weren't seen.
Yeah.
I honestly think Justin Fields it's been getting a raw deal. He was drafted to a sorry team. He got a new coach that's not offensive minded.
Yeah.
Just everything's been stacked up against him. But you watch under Mike Tomlin's tutelage, see what that kid's going to be able to do. He could be a problem going down the road.
Yeah.
Now,
he could.
What is it, week 4 that we play Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Is he going to be that much of a problem? Probably not. Still takes time to gel. Still takes time to get in the flow of everybody else. But he doesn't have to rely on his arm. He's got Bijan Robinson. What's the other running back they got? Warren. He's pretty damn good too. Their offensive line is pretty stout. So if you're going to ask Justin Fields to beat you with his arm, he doesn't have to. They can beat you on the ground. So you better figure it out quick. But if he does go to the air, you better respect it.
Oh, you're going to have to.
Yeah, you better respect his game. He's, like I said, I believe he's a lot better quarterback than he's ever been given credit for. Are you eating a cheeseburger or what?
No, just getting over his sickness.
Dude, I swear to God, it looked like you turned like this to eat a cheeseburger.
No, I did like that to blow my nose because I know nobody wanted to hear my mucus snot. Like that's gonna be nasty.
Hey man, if we're making you miss dinner, we can shut this down. We're over time anyways.
Nah, it's okay. I'm overdue for some soup.
All right. Well, anyway, we probably ought to shut this down. Sammy's gonna get mad at us.
Yep. Sorry, Sammy. I regret nothing.
He regrets apologizing to you.
Exactly. I regret the fact that I said the word regret.
There you go.
But
well,
yes.
My final thoughts for tonight is it was a good game. It was a close game. We knew it was going to be. We knew Houston had gotten a shit ton better. And I really believe we saw what we all wanted to see. We wanted to see Anthony's arm just unload. We've seen it. We've seen what this kid can do. And now we should be excited about it. Now we just got to get the other phases going right.
Yep,
so,
exactly.
Stay excited about this season. This is one loss. It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters definitely because it's a division rival, but you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
1 loss, 5 losses, 10 losses, doesn't matter. This team is getting better, and it's getting better fast. And I'm telling you right now, after Sunday's game, the league is on notice that we are a young and up-and-coming team.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So just as much as we're going to show Justin Fields the respect for his talent, they better show us the respect for ours.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have no choice.
Yeah. I'll leave it up to you now, Bubba.
Yeah. And you know what? It's just my final thought. I mean, honestly, it's just good to just focus on health and then focus on the things that we can control. And then everything else will be just completely up to us to control. We control our own destiny. So let's just keep it that way. But
that's it.
But yes, Teresa says, good show, guys. See you next time. In acronyms or abbreviations. And said, Pat, can you explain it to Chris? You know what, Teresa? I got it this time, okay? I just want to let you know.
This is a very smart man over here. I ain't got to explain nothing to him.
You're welcome. But yeah, on that note,
he grew up in Jersey. I mean, shit.
Exactly. It's just like this is stuff that I'm used to. I'm just like, why are they saying this? And I'm just like, okay, that makes perfect sense. All right. But with that being said, we will see you on Thursday. So yeah, with that, Sig Podcast and we'll show out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.